This is an amazing sign for the future of the New York Islanders, as two of the New York Islanders' top prospects are having really strong performances in their respective leagues' playoffs. And with an upcoming likely top 10 pick, the Islanders have a chance to build a really strong prospect pool after years of having a real, frankly, terrible prospect pool. This is really exciting for Islanders fans. We're going to break it down on this episode of Islanders Digest, but before we get into that, be sure to subscribe to the channel, be one of our first 100 subscribers. If you're an Islanders fan and you want more Islanders content like this is the channel for you, so be sure to hit the subscribe button. With that, let's get right into the playoff performances of Calum, Ritchie, and Cole Eiserman, because both of them are playing really strongly in their respective leagues, and this is definitely exciting for Islander fans, and it's a little something positive to talk about after a real rough day for the Islanders with Anthony Duclair taking a leave of absence. I thought it'd be a good time to really talk about what's in store for the future of this franchise, and what better way to start than talking about Calum Ritchie, the player the Islanders received in the trade for Brock Nelson. In addition, the Islanders also received a first-round pick, so this trade is going to be getting better. But honestly, if they just got Calum Ritchie, I would not be too disappointed. Granted, I love that we got a first-round pick too, but this player has been playing so well for the Oshawa Generals in the first round of the playoffs so far. He has played 4 games in the playoffs. They are up 3-1 against I believe they're playing the Spitfires. And Calum Ritchie has 1 goal, 5 assists, and yeah, he is one of his team leaders in points. Some of these other players who also have a lot of points in this series are players like Beckett Seneke, a player who went 3rd overall just last year. You also have Colby Barklow, another really high prospect who went in the first round. And Calum Ritchie is playing so well, and now he's not leading the team in points, but one thing I really noticed looking through his game logs is he is taking so many faceoffs for the Oshawa Generals, and he is winning them. He's playing really sound defensive minutes on top of providing offense, really showing that he can elevate his play in the playoffs. And this is exactly what the Islanders want to see, especially after he had such a strong regular season. Calum Ritchie was also already looking like an NHL-ready prospect in the regular season, and he is doubling down in the playoffs, showing the Islanders that he is a player who is going to be a bright spot in their future. Let's take a quick look at his regular season stats, because these are also really good to look at. Calum Ritchie played 47 games for the Oshawa Generals. Before that, he actually did get 7 games up in the NHL for the Colorado Avalanche. You might have noticed he scored his first NHL goal against Ilya Sorokin, so he does have a chance to score against every single NHL team pretty early, since Ilya Sorokin did let up a goal against him, and now that it's his first overall goal, that moment feels a lot sweeter. I was pretty pissed off when Calum Ritchie, another rookie, scored his first goal against the New York Islanders. But now that he is an Islander, that was a really exciting moment. He had 15 goals, 55 assists. Calum Ritchie is primarily a playmaker. He is a lot better at getting assists than he is at getting goals. That being said, his shot is considered to be underrated. And one of the things I definitely think the Islanders are going to work on with him when he makes the NHL is shooting a bit more, because he's only shooting 142 times this season. He can definitely get more shots, and that will translate into more goals. That being said, he is a very well-rounded player. I mean, you just look at his plus-minus. He's a plus 28, only playing 47 games. And yeah, having 70 points in 47 games, this is a great player. And on top of this, if you just watch Calum Ritchie, I mean, you watch some of his highlights in his preseason last year when he actually made the Avalanche for a 7-game sample size. Made a really good team, by the way. The Avalanche are no joke. Have a really good chance at winning the Stanley Cup this season. And if they do win the Stanley Cup, that would be absolutely great for the Islanders, because they get an additional 3rd-round pick if the Avalanche wins. So that'll just be cream on the crop. And it's just really good to also know that we can actually root for Brock Nelson in the playoffs. Normally when you trade your top player for a pick from another team, you kind of root for that team to lose, because you don't want the pick to go lower. In this situation, the pick the Islanders will be getting is either next year or in 2027. It'll likely be next season unless the Avalanche completely fall off a cliff, and that pick, because that pick is top 10 protected. So it'll be good to actually be able to root for Brock Nelson to win a Stanley Cup, because as Islander fans, we love Brock Nelson, and I really hope he does well in the postseason. And who knows, maybe Brock Nelson comes back. But even if he doesn't, the future is looking really bright with Calum Ritchie. And he is not the only prospect who's playing really great hockey right now. The other prospect we have to talk about, the prospect the Islanders actually drafted, is Cole Eiserman. And wow, is Cole Eiserman having himself a freshman season in college. Let's take a quick look at the stats. Cole Eiserman has 23 goals. Incredible for a freshman. 23 goals, 11 assists, 34 points. He does need to kind of round out his game, so expect Cole Eiserman to spend another season in college to really round out the rest of the game. He is playing better as of late, and I just think he needs to do a few things defensively a bit better. I think his all-round game is kind of hated on a little too much by scouts. If you watch him play, he hits a lot, which is really encouraging for a player who also scores goals, already showing two valuable tools in his skill set. A lot of scouts have said he does seem to have an underrated playmaking ability, and they'd like to see that come out more. And hopefully that comes out next season. But one thing we really need to talk about Cole Eiserman, or as they call him on Twitter, Goal Eiserman, is this guy not only loves to score goals, he loves to score goals in big games, because he has some prospects that they do really good when they're playing against lower level teams, and then when the big game comes, the playoff game comes, they just go completely silent. Not Cole Eiserman. His team is currently in the Frozen Four tournament, and they just made the Frozen Four partly due to Cole Eiserman's great performance in the first round of that playoffs. He scored 2 goals, didn't have any goals in the second game, but he also looked pretty strong, really involving himself in physical play and also getting a lot of shots on net. And this is also a player who really showed up in the World Junior Under-20 Championship, where the United States had a big win, partially because Cole Eiserman was able to provide offense every time he was on the ice. Now, in the under-20s, he actually wasn't playing normal minutes. He was mostly playing on the power play and a few key moments when they needed a goal. And again, some people are a little disappointed. That shows that his game is not quite well-rounded yet. At the same time, playing limited minutes to put up 7 points, Cole Eiserman is a player the Islander fans definitely should be excited about. And it just shows with these two prospects, the Islanders prospect pool that was once considered the 32nd or 31st worst prospect pool in the league is now looking pretty bright. And after this draft, when all these scouts do their re-rankings of prospect pools, expect the Islanders to make a pretty significant jump, especially if they have a good draft. Because at this point, while I love the playoff push, I think it's time to say that it is probably over for the New York Islanders. I know we started this video positive, and yes, I think the future is bright. But right now, at least this season, it's looking a little rough. The Islanders are pretty much out of it in terms of the playoffs. Technically, they still could make the playoffs. I was just looking at Money Puck, kind of seeing what those odds look like. And basically, for the New York Islanders to make the playoffs, it is projected that the playoff cut line is going to be at 89 points, meaning the Islanders would have to win every single game in their remaining 8-game schedule. Based on the way they're playing recently, losing 6 games in a row, it doesn't seem like that is going to happen. So you can put your rally cap on, you can really hope for it, but it's not looking like the Islanders are going to make the playoffs, which does mean they might have a chance at winning the draft lottery, or even if not, having a top 10 pick. Now, I don't want to talk about the chances of, I'll talk about the chances of winning the draft lottery. I'm not really going to entertain the idea of winning the draft lottery too much until it happens, because other than that, it's just wishful thinking. I will point out the Islanders right now have a 2% chance of making the playoffs, and right now their odds of winning the draft lottery are at 3.5. And if you look at Money Puck, because they can still rise in the standings, their odds of winning the draft lottery are around 3%. So that just goes to show you're almost guaranteeingly thinking the Islanders are not going to make the playoffs. They're also almost guaranteed not going to win the draft lottery. Anything can happen. That's why we root for sports. But even if they don't win the draft lottery, picking a top 10 player, and really the Islanders can move up. If you look here quickly, I think they can move up to as far as 7 or 6 if all the Buffalo Sabres, Philadelphia Flyers, Penguins, and Anaheim Ducks play well to end the season. So I have a feeling the Islanders are continue to slide down the stretch. I don't expect all those teams to win, but you might see the Islanders slip. I would say in the range of 7 to 11. I think that's the range the Islanders are going to be. I think it's more likely they go up to something like 7 than they win a few games and end up 11. But we know the Islanders, they tend to find ways to win games that we don't expect them to win when they don't really matter. We'll see what happens. But regardless, Islanders having a top 10, 11, 12 type pick is going to really add to this prospect pool and really give the Islanders a sense of a big three in prospects, which we have not had in a long time. And fortunately, with the Islanders being in this range this season, assuming they don't win the draft lottery, I think this draft has a really strong list of players, especially from the range of 1 going all the way up to, I think, 13. You have a lot of options. Then there's a little bit of a drop off going from 13 to 20, and then I think after like 20, 21, the draft completely falls off a cliff. Fortunately, the Islanders don't really have to worry after 20 because we have an early pick, and it'll be really interesting to see who the Islanders to select to really solidify this future for the team, which is all of a sudden looking a lot brighter than it did a few years ago when Aatu Räty was our top prospect. Let me know in the comments what you think about these two Islanders prospects. Which one are you more excited about? And let me know if you do know anything about the draft and the prospects coming up this season, who you'd like to see the Islanders draft with their pick, assuming it's in the 10 range. I will be doing videos in the near future where I talk about the draft and who I want the Islanders to pick once we have a bit of a more solid foundation of where the Islanders are going to be. Until then, if you want to see that video, be sure to subscribe because that's coming out soon. As always, thank you so much for watching. Let's go, Islanders.